Greetings. The topic for this podcast is how behavioral economics can boost business strategy in the USA. We dive deep into the world of business, strategy, and the psychology behind it all. Today, we're going to talk about something that's often overlooked, yet incredibly powerful: behavioral economics. Ever wondered why customers sometimes make decisions that don't seem rational? Well, that's the world of behavioral economics. It can completely transform how businesses strategize, engage with customers, and optimize decisions. So let's start with a story that'll put this all into perspective. Picture this: you're at a grocery store, and you need to buy a carton of milk. You know exactly what you want, and you're heading straight for the dairy aisle. But then right next to the milk section they placed a brand new, colorful cereal with a discount tag on it. You're drawn to it, even though you hadn't planned on buying cereal. That's behavioral economics in action, something as simple as store layout and product placement influencing your buying decision. The cereal isn't just there for your convenience, it's strategically placed to trigger your impulses. It's all about how people behave when they think they're making rational decisions, but are actually influenced by subconscious cues. Now, what does this have to do with business strategy in the USA? A lot more than you might think. Let's take a quick trip to the workplace. Imagine it's 10 a.m., and you're at a meeting with your team. The boss rolls in with a fresh cup of coffee in one hand, and a sandwich in the other. It's a casual setting, but everyone's focus shifts almost instinctively towards the coffee and sandwich. This small gesture can influence how people think and act during the meeting. It's not just about the coffee or food, it's about setting the tone, creating a sense of comfort and ease. In behavioral economics, this is known as anchoring. Your mind is anchored to the coffee as a symbol of relaxation, and that shapes your behavior in that meeting. So how can businesses use these subtle influences to shape strategy and decision making? That's the big question we'll answer today. In fact, when businesses in the USA apply behavioral economics, they can use these small cues to influence customer choices and business outcomes without customers even realizing it. From the way ads are framed to the pricing of products, everything plays a part. The sauce ingredient. Now, here's the secret sauce: emotional appeal. While rationality might seem like the key to making decisions, it's the emotional triggers that often have the most power. In the context of business strategy, emotional economics can drive consumer behavior more than any discount or logical argument. Think about the ads that really stay with you. They don't just sell a product, they tap into your emotions, your desires, and sometimes, your fears. Now let's talk about how to apply behavioral economics to business strategy in the USA. Some FAQs asked by our viewers. What is behavioral economics and how can it improve business strategy in the USA? Behavioral economics blends psychology and economics, helping businesses understand how consumers make decisions that aren't always rational. For businesses in the USA, applying behavioral insights can optimize marketing strategies, product placement, pricing, and customer interactions. By understanding the triggers that drive consumer behavior, businesses can improve their strategies, increase engagement, and drive better outcomes. So, in a workplace setting, think of it this way: when you offer your employees a project deadline that feels manageable, versus one that feels urgent, you're using behavioral economics to manipulate their urgency levels and, in turn, their productivity. For businesses, this means framing choices in ways that drive higher sales. Ever wonder why we're more likely to choose a product marked as limited edition? It's the scarcity principle at work. Now, how do you tap into this power? I remember a time when a local business in the USA tried a little experiment with their customer base. They offered free coffee every morning to customers who came in to browse. What they didn't realize was that the coffee wasn't just drawing them in for a quick caffeine fix, it was setting the stage for customer loyalty and repeat business. Customers, in turn, felt that the brand valued them, leading to increased visits and higher spending. It's the classic reciprocity principle: give something for free, and you're likely to get something back. So let's dive into the main takeaway here. Behavioral economics isn't just for economists, it's a toolkit for businesses of all sizes. From understanding why a customer chooses one brand over another, to improving employee productivity through clever nudges, behavioral economics can be a game changer for USA businesses. How can I use behavioral economics to increase customer engagement in the USA? By applying principles like social proof, reciprocity, and loss aversion, businesses can shape customer behavior. For example, showing customers that others are purchasing a product creates social proof. It's like when you're at a restaurant, and the waiter recommends the most popular dish. It's a simple nudge, but it works. What are the best behavioral economics strategies for decision-making in business? Focus on nudging your customers toward making the decisions you want. Use simple strategies, like framing a product's price as just $5 more than the competitor, or creating a sense of urgency around limited time offers. It's all about creating a subtle influence on their behavior. Sure. Here are some more tips and anecdotes to enrich the podcast and help you further illustrate how behavioral economics can improve business strategy in the USA. Business strategy with behavioral economics. Use of framing to drive decisions. One of the most powerful tactics in behavioral economics is framing how a message is presented. For example, framing a product as 90% fat-free versus 10% fat makes it sound healthier, even though the product might be the same. Businesses can use framing in their marketing to guide customers towards more favorable decisions. Whether you're selling a product, service, or idea, consider how framing can influence a consumer's perception of value and desirability. The power of defaults. People tend to go with the default option. This is known as the default effect, and it's incredibly powerful when designing pricing structures or subscription models. For example, offering a subscription service with a default auto-renewal option can increase customer retention because people are likely to stick with the default. Similarly, in insurance, default options, like automatically opting in for higher coverage, can lead to higher sales. Loss aversion and pricing. Behavioral economics shows that people hate losses more than they enjoy gains. This principle is known as loss aversion, and it can be used strategically in pricing. For instance, rather than showing a customer the potential savings from a discount, show them what they stand to lose if they don't act like missing out on limited time offers. This can lead to quicker decision-making and higher conversions. Reciprocity in customer relationships. The principle of reciprocity means that people are more likely to do something for you if you've done something for them first. You can apply this in your business strategy by offering free trials, samples, or valuable content. This small investment in the customer relationship often leads to higher conversion rates as customers feel a sense of obligation to reciprocate. Social proof and trust. Humans are inherently social creatures, and we tend to make decisions based on what others are doing. Social proof can be leveraged in business by displaying customer reviews, testimonials, or showing how many people have purchased a product. People trust what others are doing, and seeing a product's popularity or hearing positive feedback increases their trust in the business. The power of anchoring in pricing. Let's take a look at a real-world example of anchoring in pricing. Imagine you're at an upscale restaurant, and you're looking at the wine menu. The most expensive bottle on the menu costs $500, while the next one down is $150. Most people would look at that $500 bottle and think, I'm not spending that much, but the $150 bottle starts to seem more reasonable in comparison. This is anchoring. The initial price serves as an anchor, making the subsequent options feel more affordable. Now, if you're running a business, use this principle strategically in your product or service pricing to influence customer choices. Put a high-priced product alongside a more reasonably priced one to make your middle-range product appear like a better deal. The scarcity principle and consumer behavior. Now, let's talk about scarcity. another important concept in behavioral economics. A popular retailer once launched a limited-time, exclusive collection of sneakers. These sneakers weren't particularly different from the regular line, but the limited edition tag created a sense of urgency. Within hours, the entire collection sold out. The scarcity of the product triggered FOMO, fear of missing out, which is an emotional driver that businesses can leverage. You see, when people feel that something is scarce, they tend to act faster, often leading to quicker conversions. In the USA, we see this applied in everything from sales events like Black Friday to subscription box services offering limited-time products. The sense of urgency motivates action in ways that rational pricing doesn't. So, apply the scarcity principle by promoting limited-time offers or limited stock items to see how it boosts your sales. Let's bring this back to the workplace. A few years ago, a team I worked with hosted an internal event, a simple coffee and sandwich lunch break to celebrate a small achievement. The event wasn't a grand celebration, but it became a turning point for employee engagement. Everyone in the office stopped by the table to grab a coffee or sandwich. It wasn't just about the food, it was about how the informal setting made people feel more connected. There's a little-known psychological principle here, ambient social cues. It turns out, when we're in a casual, social setting, like a coffee and sandwich event, we're more likely to engage, share ideas, and bond. In the same way, businesses can use small perks, like offering employees free coffee, to foster a productive and creative environment. It may not be about the coffee, it's the environment and the behaviors it encourages. These small, seemingly trivial details can drastically influence work culture and decision-making. I've got another one for you. A few years ago, I was part of a startup that launched a subscription-based service. One of the decisions we made was to set up auto-renewals as the default option for all subscribers. Now, most people wouldn't actively opt for this, they'd simply go with the flow. As a result, our retention rate spiked, and we saw consistent revenue growth month after month. This is the default effect. People tend to stick with the option that's pre-selected, especially when they're busy or don't fully understand the decision they're making. If you're in the business of subscriptions, think about how you can set defaults to your advantage. Some insights. Apply nudging for better decision-making. Nudging involves subtly guiding people toward the desired behavior without restricting their choices. For example, offering a product's most popular option as the default choice on an e-commerce site can nudge customers to select it without even realizing it. Utilize emotionally driven discounts that are tied to emotional events, like birthdays, anniversaries, or holiday promotions. Tap into customer feelings, making the offer feel more personal and timely. This strategy increases the likelihood of conversions. Implement the endowment effect in your strategy. People tend to value things more highly once they own them. In a retail setting, businesses can use free trials or try before you buy strategies to trigger the endowment effect. Once a customer has tried a product, they're more likely to purchase it. So, what do you think? Ready to use behavioral economics to change the way you approach business strategy? Behavioral economics isn't just about making decisions for your customers, it's about understanding them better, predicting their behaviors, and ultimately crafting strategies that lead to greater success. Apply these principles thoughtfully, and you'll see how effective they can be in boosting customer engagement and driving results. Thank you.